The Financial Times is among the publications to suggest that Saudi Arabia's public investment fund is on the verge of ending its support for Live Golf, which would jeopardize the future of the competition. But this is what Yasir has had to say. That is not what Yasir Al Rumayyan, governor of the PIF, told us at the beginning of the year. He said he is behind us, that they have a project of many years. There are always rumours, and I cannot comment anything more to you than what we know. Moving on finally to rugby union news now. Courtney Lawes has been back to make a return for England and potentially feature at the 2027 Rugby World Cup, according to his new Sale Sharks boss, Alex Sanderson. Well, Lawes has made a return to England, agreeing to play for Sale next season, and he has also suggested he's coming out of retirement and hopes to make the World Cup. Well, this is what Sanderson's had to say. We can get him to the World Cup in great form, in good shape. We can give him a platform with the pack that we've got and the players we've recruited to put the best of himself back into the Prem. That's all for now. We'll have more later.
Here are our latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike has been dealt a blow. He'll miss the World Cup after suffering a ruptured Achilles tendon during Liverpool's Champions League defeat by Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. He left the pitch at Anfield on a stretcher after slipping in the first half. Liverpool fear a long absence for the 23-year-old could also rule him out at the start of next season. Ekitike wrote on the club's wrote to the fans on the social media's platform, "It's hard, maybe even unfair, but I'm grateful this is happening to me here among you and I'm not alone. Your strength and your love will be my driving force. See you again soon, Anfield," he said. He was sent for scans on Wednesday which confirmed the extent of the damage. Liverpool have not confirmed a timeline for his recovery. Elsewhere with Chelsea, midfielder Moises Caicedo has agreed a lucrative contract to extend his stay at Stamford Bridge. The Ecuador international has been pushing for improved terms after helping the club win the Conference League and the Club World Cup last season. His previous 8-year contract was signed after his move from Brighton in 2023. He's understood the new deal will now run until 2033. The deal is the second of a series of renewals, with Reece James getting a new contract as well, as Chelsea try and tie down their best assets for future campaigns. Elsewhere, Argentine legend Lionel Messi has become the new owner of Catalan club Cornellà. The 38-year-old, who helped Barcelona win the Champions League 4 times and 10 La Liga titles, is currently playing for Inter Miami in the MLS in the United States. Cornellà announced the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi has formalised the acquisition of the club, who played in the 5th tier. He said this move reinforces Messi's close ties to Barcelona and his commitment to the development of sport and local talent in Catalonia. Elsewhere in cricket, England fast bowler Josh Tongue has signed a new 3-year contract with the reigning county champions Nottinghamshire that will keep him at Trent Bridge until at least the end of the 2029 season. The 28-year-old has taken 33 wickets in 7 first-class matches for Notts at an average of 22.87 since moving from Worcestershire in 2024. Tongue played 6 of those red ball games early last summer, picking up 31 wickets, including 3 5-wicket hauls, as Notts won their first county championship since 2010. Elsewhere, and Prabhi Shimran Singh made 18 out as Punjab's Kings beat Mumbai Indians by 7 wickets to continue their unbeaten start in the Indian Premier League. It was a great performance from him. While elsewhere, Islamabad United consolidated their 8-wicket win in their place in the Pakistan Super League playoffs with a win over Karachi Kings. Into tennis now, and prize money at this year's French Open will increase by 9.5%, with the largest rises directed towards the qualifying competition and the early rounds. The singles champions will take home £2.44 million each. That's an increase of 9.8%. That's all in for the latest sporting headlines. As always, we will have more news later. Here are our latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike has been dealt a blow. He'll miss the World Cup after suffering a ruptured Achilles tendon during Liverpool's Champions League defeat by Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. He left the pitch at Anfield on a stretcher after slipping in the first half. Liverpool fear a long absence for the 23-year-old could also rule him out at the start of next season. Ekitike wrote on the club's wrote to the fans on the social media's platform, "It's hard, maybe even unfair, but I'm grateful this is happening to me here among you and I'm not alone. Your strength and your love will be my driving force. See you again soon, Anfield," he said. He was sent for scans on Wednesday which confirmed the extent of the damage. Liverpool have not confirmed a timeline for his recovery. Elsewhere with Chelsea, midfielder Moises Caicedo has agreed a lucrative contract to extend his stay at Stamford Bridge. The Ecuador international has been pushing for improved terms after helping the club win the Conference League and the Club World Cup last season. His previous 8-year contract was signed for his move from Brighton in 2023. He's understood the new deal will now run until 2033. The deal is the second of a series of renewals, with Reece James getting a new contract as well, as Chelsea try and tie down their best assets for future campaigns. Elsewhere, Argentine legend Lionel Messi has become the new owner of Catalan club Cornellà. The 38-year-old, who helped Barcelona win the Champions League 4 times and 10 La Liga titles, is currently playing for Inter Miami in the MLS in the United States. Cornellà announced the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi has formalised the acquisition of the club, who played in the 5th tier. He said this move reinforces Messi's close ties to Barcelona and his commitment to the development of sport and local talent in Catalonia. Elsewhere in cricket, England fast bowler Josh Tongue has signed a new 3-year contract with the reigning county champions Nottinghamshire that will keep him at Trent Bridge until at least the end of the 2029 season. The 28-year-old has taken 33 wickets in 7 first-class matches for Notts at an average of 22.87 since moving from Worcestershire in 2024. Tongue played 6 of those red ball games early last summer, picking up 31 wickets, including 3 5-wicket hauls, as Notts won their first county championship since 2010. Elsewhere, Prabhishran Singh made 8 not out as Punjab's Kings beat Mumbai Indians by 7 wickets to continue their unbeaten start in the Indian Premier League. It was a great performance from him. While elsewhere, Islamabad United consolidated their 8-wicket win in their place in the Pakistan Super League playoffs with a win over Karachi Kings. Into tennis now, and prize money at this year's French Open will increase by 9.5%, with the largest rises directed towards the qualifying competition and the early rounds. The singles champions will take home £2.44 million each. That's an increase of 9.8%. That's all in for the latest sporting headlines. As always, we will have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike has been dealt a blow. He'll miss the World Cup after suffering a ruptured Achilles tendon during Liverpool's Champions League defeat by Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. He left the pitch at Anfield at a stretch after slipping in the first half. Liverpool fear a long absence for the 23-year-old could also rule him out at the start of next season. Ekitike wrote on the club's wrote to the fans on the social media's platform, "It's hard, maybe even unfair, but I'm grateful this is happening to me here among you and I'm not alone. Your strength and your love will be my driving force. See you again soon, Anfield," he said. He was sent for scans on Wednesday, which confirmed the extent of the damage. Liverpool have not confirmed a timeline for his recovery. Elsewhere with Chelsea, midfielder Moises Caicedo has agreed a lucrative contract to extend his stay at Stamford Bridge. The Ecuador international has been pushing for improved terms after helping the club win the Conference League and the Club World Cup last season. His previous 8-year contract was signed for his move from Brighton in 2023. He's understood the new deal will now run until 2033. The deal is the second of a series of renewals, with Reece James getting a new contract as well, as Chelsea try and tie down their best assets for future campaigns. Elsewhere, Argentine legend Lionel Messi has become the new owner of Catalan club Cornellà. The 38-year-old, who helped Barcelona win the Champions League 4 times and 10 La Liga titles, is currently playing for Inter Miami in the MLS in the United States. Cornellà announced the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi has formalised the acquisition of the club, who played in the 5th tier. He said this move reinforces Messi's close ties to Barcelona and his commitment to the development of sport and local talent in Catalonia. Elsewhere in cricket, England fast bowler Josh Tongue has signed a new 3-year contract with the reigning county champions Nottinghamshire that will keep him at Trent Bridge until at least the end of the 2029 season. The 28-year-old has taken 33 wickets in 7 first-class matches for Notts at an average of 22.87 since moving from Worcestershire in 2024. Tongue played 6 of those red ball games early last summer, picking up 31 wickets, including 3 5-wicket hauls, as Notts won their first county championship since 2010. Elsewhere, Prabhishran Singh made 8 not out as Punjab's Kings beat Mumbai Indians by 7 wickets to continue their unbeaten start in the Indian Premier League. It was a great performance from him. While elsewhere, Islamabad United consolidated their 8-wicket win in their place in the Pakistan Super League playoffs with a win over Karachi Kings. Into tennis now, and prize money at this year's French Open will increase by 9.5%, with the largest rises directed towards the qualifying competition and the early rounds. The singles champions will take home £2.44 million each. That's an increase of 9.8%. That's all in for the latest sporting headlines. As always, we will have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike has been dealt a blow. He'll miss the World Cup after suffering a ruptured Achilles tendon during Liverpool's Champions League defeat by Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. He left the pitch at Anfield on a stretch after slipping in the first half. Liverpool feared a long absence for the 23-year-old. Could also rule him out at the start of next season. Ekitike wrote on the club's wrote to the fans on the social media's platform, "It's hard, maybe even unfair, but I'm grateful this is happening to me here among you and I'm not alone. Your strength and your love will be my driving force. See you again soon, Anfield," he said. He was sent for scans on Wednesday which confirmed the extent of the damage. Liverpool have not confirmed a timeline for his recovery. Elsewhere with Chelsea, midfielder Moises Caicedo has agreed a lucrative contract to extend his stay at Stamford Bridge. The Ecuador international has been pushing for improved terms after helping the club win the Conference League and the Club World Cup last season. His previous 8-year contract was signed after his move from Brighton in 2023. He's understood the new deal will now run until 2033. The deal is the second of a series of renewals, with Reece James getting a new contract as well, as Chelsea try and tie down their best assets for future campaigns. Elsewhere, Argentine legend Lionel Messi has become the new owner of Catalan club Cornellà. The 38-year-old, who helped Barcelona win the Champions League 4 times and 10 La Liga titles, is currently playing for Inter Miami in the MLS in the United States. Cornellà announced the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi has formalised the acquisition of the club, who play in the 5th tier. He said this move reinforces Messi's close ties to Barcelona and his commitment to the development of sport and local talent in Catalonia. Elsewhere in cricket, England fast bowler Josh Tongue has signed a new 3-year contract with the reigning county champions Nottinghamshire that will keep him at Trent Bridge until at least the end of the 2029 season. The 28-year-old has taken 33 wickets in 7 first-class matches for Notts at an average of 22.87 since moving from Worcestershire in 2024. Tongue played 6 of those red ball games early last summer, picking up 31 wickets, including 3 5-wicket hauls, as Notts won their first county championship since 2010. Elsewhere, and Prabhi Shimran Singh made 8 not out as Punjab's Kings beat Mumbai Indians by 7 wickets to continue their unbeaten start in the Indian Premier League. It was a great performance from him. While elsewhere, Islamabad United consolidated their 8-wicket win in their place in the Pakistan Super League playoffs with a win over Karachi Kings. Into tennis now, and prize money at this year's French Open will increase by 9.5%, with the largest rises directed towards the qualifying competition and the early rounds. The singles champions will take home £2.44 million each. That's an increase of 9.8%. That's all in for the latest sporting headlines. As always, we will have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike has been dealt a blow. He'll miss the World Cup after suffering a ruptured Achilles tendon during Liverpool's Champions League defeat by Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. He left the pitch at Anfield on a stretch after slipping in the first half. Liverpool feared a long absence for the 23-year-old. Could also rule him out at the start of next season. Ekitike wrote on the club's wrote to the fans on the social media's platform, "It's hard, maybe even unfair, but I'm grateful this is happening to me here among you and I'm not alone. Your strength and your love will be my driving force. See you again soon, Anfield," he said. He was sent for scans on Wednesday which confirmed the extent of the damage. Liverpool have not confirmed a timeline for his recovery. Elsewhere with Chelsea, midfielder Moises Caicedo has agreed a lucrative contract to extend his stay at Stamford Bridge. The Ecuador international has been pushing for improved terms after helping the club win the Conference League and the Club World Cup last season. His previous 8-year contract was signed after his move from Brighton in 2023. He's understood the new deal will now run until 2033. The deal is the second of a series of renewals, with Reece James getting a new contract as well, as Chelsea try and tie down their best assets for future campaigns. Elsewhere, Argentine legend Lionel Messi has become the new owner of Catalan club Cornellà. The 38-year-old, who helped Barcelona win the Champions League 4 times and 10 La Liga titles, is currently playing for Inter Miami in the MLS in the United States. Cornellà announced the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi has formalised the acquisition of the club, who play in the 5th tier. He said this move reinforces Messi's close ties to Barcelona and his commitment to the development of sport and local talent in Catalonia. Elsewhere in cricket, England fast bowler Josh Tongue has signed a new 3-year contract with the reigning county champions Nottinghamshire that will keep him at Trent Bridge until at least the end of the 2029 season. The 28-year-old has taken 33 wickets in 7 first-class matches for Notts at an average of 22.87 since moving from Worcestershire in 2024. Tongue played 6 of those red ball games early last summer, picking up 31 wickets, including 3 5-wicket hauls, as Notts won their first county championship since 2010. Elsewhere, and Prabhishran Singh made 8 not out as Punjab's Kings beat Mumbai Indians by 7 wickets to continue their unbeaten start in the Indian Premier League. It was a great performance from him. While elsewhere, Islamabad United consolidated their 8-wicket win in their place in the Pakistan Super League playoffs with a win over Karachi Kings. Into tennis now, and prize money at this year's French Open will increase by 9.5%, with the largest rises directed towards the qualifying competition and the early rounds. The singles champions will take home £2.44 million each. That's an increase of 9.8%. That's all in for the latest sporting headlines. As always, we will have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike has been dealt a blow. He'll miss the World Cup after suffering a ruptured Achilles tendon during Liverpool's Champions League defeat by Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. He left the pitch at Anfield on a stretcher after slipping in the first half. Liverpool fear a long absence for the 23-year-old could also rule him out at the start of next season. Ekitike wrote on the club's wrote to the fans on the social media's platform, "It's hard, maybe even unfair, but I'm grateful this is happening to me here among you and I'm not alone. Your strength and your love will be my driving force. See you again soon, Anfield," he said. He was sent for scans on Wednesday, which confirmed the extent of the damage. Liverpool have not confirmed a timeline for his recovery. Elsewhere with Chelsea, midfielder Moses Caicedo has agreed a lucrative contract to extend his stay at Stamford Bridge. The Ecuador international has been pushing for improved terms after helping the club win the Conference League and the Club World Cup last season. His previous 8-year contract was signed for his move from Brighton in 2023. He's understood the new deal will now run until 2033. The deal is the second of a series of renewals, with Reece James getting a new contract as well, as Chelsea try and tie down their best assets for future campaigns. Elsewhere, Argentine legend Lionel Messi has become the new owner of Catalan club Cornellà. The 38-year-old, who helped Barcelona win the Champions League 4 times and 10 La Liga titles, is currently playing for Inter Miami in the MLS in the United States. Cornellà announced the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi has formalised the acquisition of the club, who played in the 5th tier. He said this move reinforces Messi's close ties to Barcelona and his commitment to the development of sport and local talent in Catalonia. Elsewhere in cricket, England fast bowler Josh Tongue has signed a new 3-year contract with the reigning county champions Nottinghamshire that will keep him at Trent Bridge until at least the end of the 2029 season. The 28-year-old has taken 33 wickets in 7 first-class matches for Notts at an average of 22.87 since moving from Worcestershire in 2024. Tongue played 6 of those red ball games early last summer, picking up 31 wickets, including 3 5-wicket hauls, as Notts won their first county championship since 2010. Elsewhere, and Prabhishran Singh made 8 not out as Punjab's Kings beat Mumbai Indians by 7 wickets to continue their unbeaten start in the Indian Premier League. It was a great performance from him. While elsewhere, Islamabad United consolidated their 8-wicket win in their place in the Pakistan Super League playoffs with a win over Karachi Kings. Into tennis now, and prize money at this year's French Open will increase by 9.5%, with the largest rises directed towards the qualifying competition and the early rounds. The singles champions will take home £2.44 million each. That's an increase of 9.8%. That's all in for the latest sporting headlines. As always, we will have more news later. Here are your latest sporting headlines. I'm Tom Helm. We'll start with news in football. And Liverpool striker Hugo Ekitike has been dealt a blow. He'll miss the World Cup after suffering a ruptured Achilles tendon during Liverpool's Champions League defeat by Paris Saint-Germain on Tuesday. He left the pitch at Anfield on a stretcher after slipping in the first half. Liverpool fear a long absence for the 23-year-old could also rule him out at the start of next season. Ekitike wrote on the club's wrote to the fans on the social media's platform, "It's hard, maybe even unfair, but I'm grateful this is happening to me here among you and I'm not alone. Your strength and your love will be my driving force. See you again soon, Anfield," he said. He was sent for scans on Wednesday, which confirmed the extent of the damage. Liverpool have not confirmed a timeline for his recovery. Elsewhere with Chelsea, midfielder Moses Caicedo has agreed a lucrative contract to extend his stay at Stamford Bridge. The Ecuador international has been pushing for improved terms after helping the club win the Conference League and the Club World Cup last season. His previous 8-year contract was signed for his move from Brighton in 2023. He's understood the new deal will now run until 2033. The deal is the second of a series of renewals, with Reece James getting a new contract as well, as Chelsea try and tie down their best assets for future campaigns. Elsewhere, Argentine legend Lionel Messi has become the new owner of Catalan club Cornellà. The 38-year-old, who helped Barcelona win the Champions League 4 times and 10 La Liga titles, is currently playing for Inter Miami in the MLS in the United States. Cornellà announced the 8-time Ballon d'Or winner Lionel Messi has formalised the acquisition of the club, who played in the 5th tier. He said this move reinforces Messi's close ties to Barcelona and his commitment to the development of sport and local talent in Catalonia. Elsewhere in cricket, England fast bowler Josh Tongue has signed a new 3-year contract with reigning county champions Nottinghamshire that will keep him at Trent Bridge until
Porto. I don't know how quick Farioli is going to make a change, unless he has and we just didn't happen to see it. But obviously they're going to have to readjust. As I say, set pieces, if nothing else, Bednarek's going to be a big miss going either way, because he's a tall guy and obviously he's going to cause problems. Whether Forest are able to actually get the chances, I don't know, but obviously they've got the extra man and they're going to have the lion's share of possession, you would have thought.
Yep, looks like Rosario's dropped into the back four, but now Forest on the attack with Morgan Gibbs-White into the box. He flicks it with his outstep, but Wellwood can't get there with a stretch. Yeah, I just think life gets a lot easier. You can't legislate for that if you're a manager, can you, Farioli? They've got Rosario in the back four now. The Dominican, he's quite a big man, quite a tall fella and all that, and it wouldn't surprise you if he'd played centre back before, but yeah, then they'd obviously like how that squares up, how they change the formation, but it has to change. I feel all of a sudden they've taken the man whose job was to be the central figure, the big pivot in the middle. And now he's got to defend. He runs into a challenge. He was late then. Lost the ball, went into Gibbs-White. I just thought for a second, oh, here we go. But referee's allowed to play on there. Ball out to Sanusi. And he then finds Gabri Vega. He's looking for Borja Science. But Olaena covers that off. And then he goes back to his keeper. And he launches it long. And now for Forest, it's up to them to work it out. I always say this, but I always think it's true. I'm a big fan of Vitor Pereira, right? But if you're Nottingham Forest and you knew that you were going to be up against 10 men, virtually from the start, would you be playing with just one striker? I always have that kind of thought. It's like the team with 11. If somebody gets sent off early, hardly ever change. But if you actually knew you're up against 10 men, would you do something? You never see a change, which I always think is quite weird. Anyway, I'll bring Robin in a second because here comes Forest. They're all over. They don't need a change. Big deflected effort. That ends up in the back of the net and off we go. Morgan Gibbs-White turns around to celebrate. It's a huge deflection. Nothing that Diogo Costa could do, but I just think that could be the opening of the floodgates there.
Yeah, I mean, plenty has gone in Nottingham Forest's favour in this tie because the own goal, 50 yards out, a red card, deflection on their goal tonight. I mean, obviously you'd think over the course, he was sent off in the 8th minute, you'd think over the course of the next 82, Forest are going to get a chance or two, but of course it's come within 4 minutes, and it's a deflection. But Porto, arguably architects of their own downfall. Costa's caught in possession, he's now out of position, he's the right back, and then of course red shirt streaming forward. I think the shot is on target, but it looks as though Diogo Costa's got it covered, but it's blocked into the ground by Rosario and slightly to the left of the keeper, who's diving to his right. There's plenty gone in Nottingham Forest's favour. I'm not trying to say it shouldn't in a way, but it just has, and they've got to capitalise.
Well, everybody's due fair share of luck out there at times. You can't legislate for that. The home fans, I tell you what, they do not care. They do not care how lucky they're lucky for us. They're bouncing and they're loving it. The Dragons now have got to search for the hero inside themselves, but for the moment they can't get hold of the ball, and it's just a thought, how easy is this? Again, Gibbs-White on the ball breaks out right hand side. Murray Hutchinson brings under control. He's got Olaena overlapping. Everybody wants the ball now in a red shirt, don't they? They're mad keen to get forward. And all of a sudden, I bet Thiago Silva's feeling every one of those 41 years. As the fans are up, they're loving it. And for Forest fans. Not been a great season, has it? Multiple managers and all that. Ball comes in, and that's a good take by Diogo Costa. Comes out and claims it. I'm a big fan of Vitor Pereira. It was funny what happened at Wolves and all that. I think lack of investment over a long time really caught up with them. But I always thought he got something going. I thought he rabble-rouses really well. When he speaks really intelligently. I think he's got bags of experience as well. Here come Forest now, inside the box they go, a little cut back and a shot comes in, that's drilled at the near post. Dominguez giving it a shot, why not, but just wide of the mark.
Yeah, and they've got to do better, Porto, in possession, because they had a little bit of ball and then it's played up towards the halfway line. Now, whether Moffey's got to be stronger or they've got to play a different tactic, I don't know. Chris Wood, I think, is down. He's probably still feeling the effects of the challenge from the red card. But Moffey's beaten to it by Murillo, and then all of a sudden Forest are on the attack. They've got to be a bit more sensible with their possession, because if Moffey isn't the person to hold it up, either play a different way or change Moffey. It looks as though Chris Wood, which is a shame, he came back from injury, 6 months out, coming back last week, and of course 8 minutes into this game he's clattered by Bednarek. As unmalicious as it was, Bednarek's just made a terrible foul, really. It's one thing trying to get your body in the way and poke it away, but it's just not a good challenge, and it's not even sensible. I mean, it's just poor from Bednarek.
I think there's a couple of things about it. One is the initial hit, where he's going to be bruised, and you can see that his skin's broken by the studs and all that, so you get that. Then he sort of hyperextended, and when he went down, his foot twisted in the turf, and that's put more pressure on his knee. I think initially it was like ligaments sort of can snap back into place, but then if he's got bruising and he starts feeling that, it's like, well, there's no point in trying to do anything. It looks like Igor Jesus who is going to be the man who comes in, so like for like. And any striker worth his salt will be champing at the bit to get on the field today. Forest 1, Porto 0. Porto down to 10 men. Jan Bednarek sent off late, very clumsy challenge. As Igor Jesus' first touch here is bearing down on goal, and then, well, the defender makes it back up there. Zanussi, first touch was terrible. And then he thought the ball had gone off Jesus out for a goal kick, but it looks like it's going to be a corner.
Yeah, I mean, it's a poor pass in the first place from Zoldu, and then he's clearly cleared it behind for a corner. He's fooling no one. Even the referee behind him on that occasion was already pointing for a corner. And so the pressure is on. I mean, sometimes you just got to clear your lines. He's trying to cushion a volley at an awkward angle from near the halfway line, and he's coughed up possession. Yes, he's made amends, but he's made amends in the way that Forest now have a corner. They
look like they made a good start in the Porto, but it looks like their minds are blown by what's happened. Corner kick comes in. Nico Williams taken on the chest. If Jesus, he can't get his shot away, he was very cool and calm there. All that ain't it. Hooks it away. Just let him deal with it. We've got one more man. He just spooned it up in the air. It was fine. And then the referee spotted something and play will stop. But yeah, they very hard to see past Forest right now. They can do what they like. They can play how they like. I said they might think about changing formation, but they might have brought a second striker on. But when Wood goes off, that ship sailed anyway. They don't need to do anything, do they? Now they're looking in perfect shape to go on and win the game as they would like. Poor ball from McCooney though doesn't help. Gibbs White couldn't get there, and now herring after it is William Gomez, young 20-year-old. He was running hard and fast for a while. Good defended by Ola Aina there under a bit of pressure, but they get the ball away. And every time they break out now, Forest look like they're going to score. Hutchison now chance to run at the full back, takes Zanussi back into the box, little step over, right-footed, lovely cross. I'm waiting for that to be nodded in by Jesus at the far post, or whoever wants it really, Dan Ndoye as well. Such a good ball, just waiting for that to go in.
Yeah, I was trying to work out whether he was actually going for goal or going for the cross. Either way, it's not too far away from either. Jesus throwing himself at it, couldn't quite get there. I mean, it's a great ball with the channel. It's too far ahead of the keeper. It's behind the defence. It's inviting for a forward to run onto it. Maybe just a fraction too hard. And obviously it was beyond Jesus before he could get there. But I mean, Porto haven't got an out ball. They're not playing sensible football, I don't think. They're losing out in midfield because of the man down, and they're trying to play their way through midfield. And it hasn't worked yet. I know we're only into the 20th minute, and they're trying to play some football along the ground again. It's intercepted. I don't think they're playing sensible football because they've got three. They're still sticking with the front three, really, but they're trying to get it to the front three with a man less, and they're getting overrun in midfield, swamped, and they're coughing up possession before the front three even see it. So I think they've got to change their tactics.
Yeah, but as soon as you do that thing where it's like, then the inevitable you sit back, or with maybe attack's the best form of defence, Rob.
Well, I think they're playing quite a high line, Forest. I mean, they haven't put a ball in behind Forest yet and say, right, okay, have you got the pace for our forwards to keep them at bay? Of course, sometimes you overhit it, but they haven't played a high ball yet, despite a high line. Forest on the attack again.
Yeah, here comes Hutchinson again into the box. Good little feint. And yeah, he did well, a little in and out, and gets the ball back to Olaena, who puts a percentage ball into the far post. Out comes Diogo Costa and gets it. The last ball that we saw down the right, saw William Gomez he's a little scamperer. I think he's got a quick 5 yards, but a not particularly quick 20 yards, if you know what I mean. He's got a burst, but that's about it. A burst to get round somebody, but he's not somebody who's going to score from the halfway line. Olaena is taken out with the ball to Morgan Gibbs-White. Now he's looking for a cutback. He had two to find. The ball breaks back to Hutchinson, and now in deep jeopardy, and that was a foul. It's an obvious foul as well from Gabri Vega, because if he gets the ball away, I think they get another shot on goal there. So he had to do something, but chances are just going to come thick and fast tonight. And I think it might have been a tall order for Porto anyway, but they're nowhere right now.
Yeah, they're just struggling. A, with the fast transitions, B, to try and get the ball in possession, because when they've got it, they're being closed down. The front three aren't getting involved. Aston Villa have just scored, by the way. Ollie Watkins giving Villa a 1-0 lead on the night. That's 4-1 on aggregate, and so it looks as though Villa are going to be waiting the winner of this tie in the next round, which I guess the smart money would be on Forest. 1-0 up on the night, 2-1 on aggregate, but they're playing against 10 men, at least for the time being. And of course, they're just wave after wave of attack.
Murillo then with the strike, only he could tell you what he was thinking about there. He didn't even have the good grace to smile. It was a terrible shot. Incidentally, in Toscano, Fiorentina 0, Crystal Palace 1. So by and large, the Premier League sides are doing okay in Europe. Of course, Arsenal got through last night, didn't they? Nip and tuck against Sporting. So plenty of Portuguese interest in this game, of course. Vitor Pereira, Portuguese, and all those Portuguese-speaking Brazilian players out on show tonight. And the ball goes all the way back then to Diogo Costa, who been a great servant to Porto and Portugal. He's 40-odd caps. I was surprised to find out he was actually born in Switzerland, but anyway, one of those weird anomalies. Forest won, Porto 0. But the home fans will be reading their programmes, thinking about their cup of Bovril at the break, and dreaming about what comes next, really. It's very hard to see them not winning this game now, and it's a massive shame for neutrals watching the game, because you just think it's not really a contest now, is it?
No, well, you think it isn't, but you know, Porto aren't terrible. You know, they're top of the Primera Liga, and they've got some players. I don't think they've played the opening 23 minutes particularly well, not just because of a red card. Obviously, going a man down, it's just not happening one way or another. Whether they just need a little bit of time to regroup. The second goal, I would say I think Forest could be a little bit more aggressive, up the tempo, stretch Porto a little bit more. But of course they don't need to, and at the moment they're just dominating without pepper in the goal of Costa. They're dominating, but Costa hasn't had too much to do.
Here's Dan and Doy, and they won a corner kick there, and that means that we're halfway through an eventful first quarter of the game. You're listening to independent off-tube studio commentary. It is Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0. It's going to be Rob now to take us through to half-time.
Yeah, next goal for Forest might just be the winner. Obviously, Porto get it. You never quite know what might happen, but yeah, Forest are looking the most likely ever since Bednarek was sent off in the 8th minute. It had been a relatively bright start for Porto. Big chance for Moffey early doors, but now a chance for Forest. Ball swung into the mixer, but that's far too close for Diogo Costa. He's able to pluck the ball out of the air, launches it downfield. Borja Sites doesn't know which way it's gone. It's actually gone the other way towards Gomez. He's beaten in the air though by Williams, and now Williams is back on the attack. Just slipped momentarily, and he's miscontrolled it. Who's going to get the free kick? Not 100% sure. Chris Wood's got strapping, maybe an ice pack on his right knee. Understandable, really. But obviously a bit annoying for him as much as anything else, having only just come back from injury. So obviously it'd be a worry for Forest's relegation running, I guess, as much as anything else, as well as the semi-final.
I think it might, you know, like I said about the ligaments, I think it snapped back in. I think that it's more swelling or something like that that's impeding it, and he's thinking, well, there's no point in taking a risk. So I think if he was more serious, he wouldn't be out on the bench with a bit of ice on it. You know what I mean? So I'm hopeful that there's not massive damage being done there.
Apparently Aston Villa have missed a penalty. They're 1-0 up, 4-1 up on aggregate, but they missed a penalty to perhaps make well and truly sure of their progress. Gomez has won a free kick for Porto. Vitor Pereira is making plenty of notes. As obviously Forest dominating the opening 26 minutes, leading by the goal from Morgan Gibbs-White, helped by a deflection. Still only 1-0. Of course, it's 2-1 on aggregate. Porto just got to settle down. And perhaps they still haven't made a change, so they're happy with Rosario playing in the back four as they go long this time. A little bit too long for Borja Sainz to get on the end of it, but he will press firstly Murillo and then Ortega, but it's worked out to Aina down the right-hand side, and Gibbs-White has picked it up in the centre circle, switching play to the left. Good pass as well to Nico Williams, who's got Ndoye to his outside, feeds a teammate now, who just teases it in towards the 6-yard box. Again, a little bit too close to Costa, who pounces on it. But, you know, a fast break and an opportunity.
Well, if Villa missed their penalty, then they quickly made up for it, didn't they? Maybe they retook the penalty or something, I don't know. But it seems that they scored very quickly afterwards, didn't they? So they're 2-0. So they're done and dusted, aren't they? Yeah, Morgan Rogers missed a penalty. Then Emi Buendia went and scored anyway. Oh, here's a big mistake. Amari Hudson shot into the side net, and they lost the ball inside their own box. He claims a corner kick. I don't think so. I think he just hoofed it into the side netting. But anyway, we'll take another look at that. It was a close-run thing.
It was a poor pass from Jesus, really. He's complaining that there isn't a runner. Basically, Rosario should have intercepted. Went under his foot and straight onto the right boot of Hutchison.
Yeah, it was a deflection, wasn't it? I don't think he got a corner kick for it. Didn't look obvious to me. But yeah, both officials have missed it, and that makes it a goal kick, apparently.
Well, Betis 3-0 up at home to Braga. That was 1-1 from the first leg. Looks as though another side is already into the semi-finals. Haven't reached half-time yet. These are 8 o'clock kick-offs. If you didn't know, Freiburg 3-1 up. They won 3-1 at Celta Vigo to complete a 6-1 aggregate success. They're already through to the last 4. Looks like they're playing Betis as Nico Williams has it down the left-hand side for Nottingham Forest. Back in field to Jesus, now to Sangare. Murillo into the box, little back heel from Ndoye. I think it was a back heel attempt rather than a miscontrol, but it's dribbled through to Costa, and Porto still only 1-0 down.
Yeah, somehow there's a couple of times that Forest have got in the box, and that final ball has been all right, but just not anybody getting on the end of it. I think again, you think about the system, and they're playing with a lone striker. You know, that 4-2-3-1. It's a well balanced system and all that. But sometimes you're going for blood. You know, you could even think if you're maybe a Dominguez or a Sangare, you know, I'll just do that Ghost 9 thing and I'll just keep popping into the box. I might get something today for that. You know, so I think there could be a little bit more gung-ho. I think the thing is that Porto have tried to keep 3 up top because they try to keep the fullbacks back. They don't want to be completely swamped if all of a sudden they change, but they're getting swamped in midfield anyway because they're up against 2, and so it's such a struggle for Porto. You can't win for losing if you're them right now, and I think when that second goal comes in for Forest, that they'll be doomed.
That third goal for Betis, by the way, has been chalked off, so they're only 2-0 up, but that of course is 3-1 on aggregate. A little bit tighter though in terms of progression right now. Nico Williams with a cross to the far post, and free header at that far stuck Igor Jesus. Out jumped his man. I thought the keeper was just going to come out and pluck it out of the air, but it's gone all the way to Jesus, who's jumped over the back of Zoldu. Brilliant leap in the end. Couldn't quite get the power behind the header.
No, I think he did all right there at the far post. He picked a good spot. He did as much as he could do with it. It's like, you know, I'm going to get this on target if it kills me kind of thing, and he did. But you'd always expect the keeper to save it. But a decent effort. Well, again, it wasn't a great ball in, was it? But he did his best with it.
Into the final 15 minutes of the first half. And of course Forest leading and progressing at the moment, but it's a slender lead, even if it is against their 10 men. Stranger things have happened as Porto are on the attack. Cunha gets a challenge in. I think Gomez is trying to make the most of it and try and get a free kick stroke penalty. No, it'll be a Porto throw, maybe 20 yards from the corner flag. Obviously Forest haven't been defending too much in the first half. Of course, a real good chance game in the opening couple of minutes for Moffey. Wasn't able to take it. Zoldu looks like he might have a semblance of a long throw. It's gone down the line, actually looking for sights, and Einer's got there first, gets a challenge in, but they've made a bit of progress downfield. So it's a throw in nearer to the corner flag for Porto. And Zaidu, perhaps not the best long throw. He's found another shorter option, and so it's on the deck. Cross blocked down into the path of Rosario. Now at Vega on the angle, tries to beat 2 defenders, can't. Just swamped by red shirts in the end, and now a potential counter on as Moffey is back there trying to stop Jesus getting forward, and it's going to be yellow cards. I thought he got a little bit of the ball. It was Ndoye that went down actually, not Jesus. Moffey's protesting his innocence, but he's in the book.
Yeah, he never got ghost out of him. He never got shoulder to shoulder. So when he's got an arm on Ndoye and he's dragging him back, it's fairly obvious. I think he's an ace away from making it. I don't like that from Pereira. He's showing the imaginary card out the touchline. I do like him as a coach, but he can leave that one at home. Unless he wants to get the job at Real Madrid. It's imaginary cards. But anyway, yeah, they don't need that, do they? But yeah, Moffey just too desperate to get back in. I think the way that the play was turning into him, it might have dropped through him anyway, but he was just overzealous, really.
Hodgson down the right-hand side for Forest, coming in the field, trying to get away from Zoldu, can't quite. Pass back to Sangare. Dominguez gives White. Morello out to the left-hand side. Williams. He's got Ndoye hugging the touchline. Back to Williams, 30 yards out, left channel. Sangare possibly line up a 30-yarder. No, works it out to Hutchinson. One-on-one at the moment, going around the outside. Checks back onto his left foot. Now digs out across towards the far post. Thiago Silva takes no chances. In fact, it's Alberto Costa tucking in. Heads it behind for a corner to Nottingham Forest. 1-0 up. Thanks to that Gibbs White deflection.
Thing is, when you got that man extra, you start popping the ball around. But to know, it's like play keep ball, being in triangle, it doesn't really get you anywhere. Thank goodness Hutchinson at least thinks we'll try to swing a ball in. and they get a corner kick from it. But yeah, I've been quite impressed by Murray Hutchinson tonight.
1-0 up. Can they make it 2? Deep cross to the far post, free header. And Jesus just can't quite keep his header down. I think the keeper this time was trapped on his line. It might have been Rosario that jumped and missed it. And Jesus at the far stick doesn't need to jump. Inside the 6-yard box, yes, but from a tight angle, I guess. But it's over the bar. Hit the target. It's got to hit the target.
I think if I'm mitigating for him, I'm sending geeks come through and see your bodies and all that. But I just want my striker to be cool and calm. Be the ball. Expect the ball to get to you. And he's in position A. Then think about technique. The ball's going to come to me. I don't need to worry about anything else. Just head it down, and into the goal frame. And instead, I think he's like a startled rabbit when the ball comes to him, and he balloons his header right into the air when he's about 5 yards from goal.
Fofana's won the ball back for Porto. This time dispossessing Ndoye, who's in a central position. They're trying to break down the right-hand side, and they have broken. Oh, it's a really poor touch. It's allowed Nico Williams to get back.
Ooh.
And then there's a challenge coming in. 2 players. Williams is on the ground, and he hooks it away into danger. Into touch. But of course, I think it's Costa who's run into it.
Well, Costa's holding his foot, and Williams is holding his knee. He's so late there, Costa. It's untrue. And again, I feel it's going to be. It's got to be a yellow, hasn't it? I mean, the way he's booted him there.
Yeah, I mean the ball's there, but then it wasn't, and
he gets a yellow card.
Yeah, it's going to be a yellow card. I'm not sure if we mentioned it. Fiorentina have equalised at home to Crystal Palace. Of course, Palace well in control after the first leg, but it's now 1-1 on the night's second leg. Still 2-0 in the other Europa League matches. To the home side, Aston Villa at home to Bologna, Betis at home to Braga. Forest haven't quite got that second goal yet, but they are leading by 1-0, and it's now Hutchinson down the right-hand side, putting an early cross this time, and it's hooked away by Rosario, behind for a corner. I don't know what Rosario's arguing about. I don't think... what is he possibly arguing about there? It's a corner.
I've not got a clue. It's such an obvious corner, or is it? What is he arguing? I've no idea. Anyway,
the person on his shoulder was his teammate. And it is a corner. It's taken short. Nico Williams on the right-hand side gets it off Hutchinson, who puts a big up and under. I don't know if that's deliberate. Header nodded down towards the far post. Tee back to the edge of the box.
Oh.
Left-footed shot wide of the post from Murillo up from the back. Probably needed to go with his right foot, but he showed a fair degree of composure there. Just the wrong side of the upright.
Yeah, he's not far away, is it? It's not a bad effort, that, really. He's just jabbing at that. Ball breaks to him. He's hitting it side foot with his left. He's like he's fading it in, isn't he, a little bit? On another day, that curls enough that it, maybe creeps into the back of the net, but not bad.
Yeah, Diogo Costa wasn't saving it. Had it been just inside the post, it was just outside the post. Braga are trying to make that their game interesting. It's Betis 2, Braga 1 now. And obviously fairly tight after a 1-1 draw in the opening leg. Forest, of course, 1-1 themselves, but 1-0 up playing against 10 men. 8 minutes to go to the break. Might be a bit of stoppage time, though, due to a couple of injuries to Chris Wood and the VAR check for the red card. So there's probably a bit of stoppage time. The second goal just probably killed the tie, to be honest, against 10 men. Porto have already been beaten 2-0 at the City Ground this season. And up against it since the 8th minute, really. A second goal for Forest might just take the wind out of their sails. Who knows? Forest have got to score it. Nico Williams driving forward, goes round a rather tentative challenge, if that. He's going across the pitch now, put under a little bit of pressure from Vega, who works it out to the right-hand side. Aina now taking on Allcombs, tries to pull it back. It's just not far ahead of Hutchinson, but it's a poor pass from Vega. Forest have it back. Now with Morgan Gibbs-White, 25 yards out right channel. He works a 1-2 with Sangari. Porto have got plenty back behind the ball at the moment. Hutchinson, Gibbs-White, Sangari again. He's going infield this time. Murillo creates that extra man. Feeding it over to Ndoye, right-hand side. 1-on-1 with Costa at the moment. Alberto, not Diogo. Nico Williams, Ndoye, back to Williams. And Forest don't quite look as dangerous when Porto have got everybody back behind the ball. They've certainly exploited Porto on the counter. This particular attack had just biding the time. Eventually it's a poor pass from Dominguez. The clearance not good though. Forest win it back. Dominguez looking for a better pass this time. Takes it short to Gibbs White. Back to Dominguez. Tried to just cushion it back into the path of his captain. Hooked away by Alberto Costa. And I guess this might have been what we were expecting. One-way traffic.
Yeah, it is, but it's also it's faintly boring, isn't it? Watching triangles. I want to see somebody beat somebody, you know, make a huge overload or do somebody pop up. Ola Aina plays centre forward at the minute. I love that. You know, why not? Players just to keep popping in and out there as Jesus is on the ball. Done well to keep hold of it. Here come Forest.
Hutchinson who goes for goal, and he was heading for the top corner. Perhaps just lacked the zip because Diogo Costa just shuffles across his area, plucks it out of the air, and it is a simple save in the end. Forest still leading by a goal to nil. Well, Aston Villa are enjoying themselves, 3-0 up before half-time. Having been 3-1 up from the first leg, so they're into the next round. Yellow card coming out for Nottingham Forest. Hutchinson just wrong-footed by Zoldo in the end and drags him back. So he goes into the book.
Well, quite right too. No attempt to play the ball. Stupid challenge, really. Now you make a mistake, you forget yourself, kick the ball away, then the referee would be desperate to level things up. But I was just looking at the stats for Diogo Costa. He's the captain of the team. He's 26 years of age. He looks a really good keeper to me. He keeps coming out, claiming the ball. He knows where he needs to be and all that. I think he shows he's a one-man sort of a one-club man, though, isn't he, Diogo Costa? Whether he's got an ambition to go anywhere, but I'm sure there'll be a lot of teams looking at him. Like we said, 42 caps for Portugal as well. He looks a good keeper.
Ball into the Forest box, but too far ahead of Moffey. Clearly, Cunha got the call from Ortega. Incidentally, Fofana's changed his shirt because that ripped. It's not a great advert for the shirt quality, but might argue it was a clear pullback. That was no foul given against Jesus, but he changed his shirt. Forest have the ball back. Hutchinson, first Forest card, of course, back in field to Aina. Sangare back to the halfway line. Cunha across to Murillo. And Forest just trying to knock it around right to left. Porto have certainly settled. They look fairly frantic after, well, not only the red card, but the goal. But they seem to at least be keeping Forest at arm's length to a degree. Hutchinson, though, crosses again to the far post, and again it's plucked out of the air by Costa. He's getting the ball into the box, but his delivery not fantastic.
No, it's hit and miss, isn't it? Yeah, Costa commands his area pretty well, so you've got to try and avoid him. Incidentally, New Balance, that's who makes their There are other manufacturers, but if you want your Porto shirt, maybe you'd have to go back a few years and get another one from a different manufacturer that might stand the test of time longer. I bet they have. You always think that the professional ones should have a bit more about them. Here comes Hutchinson again into the box. Can he get his feet sorted? What's the point? I'm trying to talk him into having a good game, and there he does his little stuff. He gets in the box. There's nobody pestering him to close him down, and he does a no-look cross. And he's like, well, yeah, where do you think that's gone? Rubbish.
Gomez, incidentally, went down hoping for a free kick in the build-up to that last cross from Hutchinson. He didn't get the free kick. I don't think he's turned up particularly well in the opening 43 minutes. Not easy with a man down, but I don't exactly know what he's doing. He's hardly stemming the attacking play down the left-hand side from either Williams or Ndoye, even if the final ball's not been the quality that Forest won.
I saw him play for the under-21s when they won the World Cup, and he played pretty well, right? But I just thought, has he really got enough talent to beat a man? He does his little step over, buys himself some time, and then he doesn't look, and he puts the ball into nobody, and you think, come on, mate. You know, you've got a bit of talent. The next stage in his learning, just get his head up and look. I'm sure if he looked a bit more, that he'd be able to find players. There's a bit of naughtiness there. Or Aina and Gabriel Vega having a coming together. Then the benches come out there wanting to get involved in all that and create something. But it's up to Forest not to get involved in any of this. It's something or nothing that anyway, really. But Borja decides to try to get up, and Ole stood over him at the time. No big deal. Forest just need to keep their cool here.
Yeah, I think Vega's thinking Aina doesn't need to step over Borja's sides to get goal side. He could go around him, but it's just a bit of pushing and shoving. At least the protection of his teammate is there. Now, I don't think Aina did much wrong, other than, of course, push back, because that could only get you a yellow card. He could have walked away, obviously, but the referee didn't take any action anyway. Porto haven't threatened for a while. They've got the ball. I think he's just slipped over Fofana after he ricocheted to him. Porto were actually looking for Moffi, but Marilla got a challenge in, but the chance has gone that end. Might be one the other way.
Brilliant effort that from Borja Sainz. He got back there. In fact, it was the young kid, wasn't it, William Gomez, long bursting run from him to keep up with Nico Williams, and then winkle the ball off. And look at him going there. I said that I didn't think he had a pace over a long period, but he kept on going there, kept on sprinting until he got the ball back.
Throw into Nottingham Forest. Just about 45 minutes up, so we're going to find out how much stoppage time. As I say, a couple of injuries and a VAR check for the red card, not the goal. So it's got to be some time added on. Yeah, I thought there would be 5 minutes. Obviously, Chris Wood twice, I think, had a little bit of treatment. Not his fault entirely, because he was the one that was fouled, and it didn't look good. Hence the red card for Bednarek. Worked by Forest, looking for a second before the break. Hutchinson, who's crossing, not always on the money, and he doesn't risk it this time. Forest happy to have possession with obviously the game in stoppage time. Now trying it down the left-hand side. Doyle's been a little bit quiet for the last 5-10 minutes. Works a 1-2 with Gibbs White, and Doy again onto his right foot, back to Gibbs White. He's not crossing aimlessly into the box. Gibbs White looks for a tricky pass. It comes out the way of Nico Williams, pulls it back from the byline, won't reach Jesus. It's cleared only to Ndoye, crosses in, arriving late. And he's put it wide. Dominguez, I think it was, arriving late. Got between defenders, glancing header. He's ended up with the back of the net. The ball went the wrong side of the upright.
Don't know how he didn't score there. He gets there and he just glances. I don't know. He's looking for a glancing across the keeper header rather than powering it in at the near post. Maybe there's just a bit too much on the cross again, but I just feel a bit more devil about that. He's not really a goal getter, is he, Nicolas Dominguez? Like I said, those midfielders, they need to keep making runs into the box, because on a night like tonight, we've seen so, even though there have been poor crosses, 2 from Hutchinson have been quite good out of his about 7 that he's tried. Shot from range there from was it Sanusi? Poor effort, but I suppose worth the goal.
Yeah, strange one from Zaido or Sanusi, because I think he is going for goal, but it must be 30 yards out on the angle, and of course it's always swerving away. It didn't start on target and threatened the corner flag more than the actual goal that Ortega's had very little to do with. He made an excellent save early on, Ortega, to deny Moffi, but the red cards changed the game really, and Porto have been living on scraps and not too many of them. I would say that the gilt-edged chances haven't quite come for Nottingham Forest. They have looked more likely. Of course, Dominguez has just glanced an effort past the post. Could have easily scored.
Without trying to be funny or arch, you can understand why they're struggling in the Premier League if this is what they've got against 10 men. It's just a struggle. It's like, well, where are you really linking up? Are you looking for each other? We're seeing a little bit one-out football, and then we're seeing percentage ball into the box from their wingers. I think Dan and Doyle's probably better on the right. I think I'd bring Hudson Odoi at half-time and take Hutchinson off, if only for the fact that he's on a yellow card. You don't want anything at all to level this up. And the referees are desperate to do that if they can. But that's the only change I'd make. I think, for me, Dan and Doyle's ever so quiet. It's weird because Hutchinson sort of got involved more than he has, but he's just not done a lot with it.
Yeah, I mean, they could mix the wingers. have a right footer on the right wing just to mix it up a little bit. I don't know. Nobody does that anymore, as Gomez on the Porto right tries to swing it across. It's blocked back towards Vega, who goes down rather cheaply under the foul from the challenge from Ndoye. I don't think Ndoye's made a challenge as such, but Vega's got the contact and got a free kick. I think we're into the final minute of the minimum of 4 to be added on, so it's a set-piece chance for the Portuguese Giants to try and at least test Ortega again in the Forest goal. That save he made from Moffey probably was in the first minute, and he hasn't been tested since. And we're of course into the effectively 50th minute of the half. Would it be tested in the final minute of the half? 3 up in the box for this delivery from a set piece. Couple lurking outside. Obviously they're not going to commit too many. Porto, man down. Of course they've got one less to commit as well. Bednarek might have been a target in this situation. No, 4 or 5 in the box. Glance on their post, and it's just beyond everybody else. I think it came off Saints at that near post. I don't think he's going for goal. He can't find a teammate, and it will be a goal kick.
Yeah, just a little flick. Alberto Costa, I think it was. Just try to promote the ball on, don't you, near post, and hope that somebody at the far post to get on the half volley kind of thing. It didn't work out, but they've really struggled, and the referee's seen enough. So we've hit the break, and at half time it is Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd give him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd give him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd give him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd give him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd give him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd give him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. It is Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto at 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. Against Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. Against Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. Against Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. Against Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for Rosario and into the back of the net. Forest have been dominant, but only 1-0. It's half-time at the City Ground. Against Nottingham Forest at 1, Porto 0. Porto had a man sent off after just 8 minutes. And that, of course, changed the game massively. Jan Bednarek, a late challenge on Chris Wood, who subsequently got subbed off for Igor Jesus. VAR made the referee change his mind about it. I think he'd given him a yellow. A couple of minutes later, Morgan Gibbs-White, then a shot deflected off for... Right then, we were just marvelling about how many substitutions had been made. I forgot to start. Anyway, we're back. Dominguez there a little bit late in the box. Did he catch his man? Yes, he did. What's going to be given here? It's just outside the box, isn't it? Just in the D, I fancied there. Dominguez might be a yellow card. Hudson had gone off, so somebody listens to me, Rob. And Hudson-Odoi's come on, which I think means that Dan Ndoye moves to the other flank. That makes sense to me. But anyway, it's a free kick, dangerous area. This flies the back of net. We got game on again, don't we? And with their 4 changes, makes you wonder really what Francisco Farioli was waiting for. They scrambled a bit, didn't they? And I suppose they had a ready-made replacement for Bednarek in Rosario, who looks centre back. And I guess they only conceded 1 goal. But their fans now getting excited. I don't know who's going to kick this, but they all want to.
Seven players are stood around the ball for a free kick.
It's committee. It's a committee. So
the referees had to tell Porto to get on with it. They're having a conversation. 7 of them. He's right on the edge of the box in the D, very central. Could go either way.
Well, William Gomez here stood with it. Varela is the other option. What they're going to do? I didn't see him put the ball down. I think Gomez hits this one. Anyway, it's going to be left-footed. He strikes. He hits his own man in the wall. Really? Really? So it took 7 of them to work out what you want to do, kid. Is not hit your own man in the wall. That's what I would have been chipping in with. It's not a good effort, that. Their fans behind that goal were willing something to happen. And as a neutral in this, I was thinking, well, would that be such a bad thing? Anyway, they're showing a little bit of quality. They're trying to get into this game right now. As you know, they're Yeah, they've been on the ball ever since the start of the half. With 2 or 3 minutes in now, as Gomez' little ball spun round the corner into midfield, and then Mora, then Rosario gets it out with his stiff feet. Chance for Froholt. He can put the ball in, swung in by Rosario to the far post. That's headed away by Ola Aina, and then Hudson-Odoi, who's on the right hand side, burst past his man. Then he let him get back to him. And then the ball just pings off the head of Callum Hudson-Odoi. He's now left-hand side. He waits for the overlap. That's Nico Williams. And the ball laid back to him. And then to Morgan Gibbs-White. And now everybody wanted to take a touch and back to triangles and going backwards again. So I think there's been a slight change in formation for Porto, and I think they're 3 at the back. Froholt's come on for Costa, he's a midfielder. So they've got Silva, Kiwior and Sanusi, I think is maybe a 3. Not entirely certain about that.
Yeah, they got rid of a couple of yellow cards. Or say a couple. Alberto Costa's gone off. Nico Williams is breaking full force down the left-hand side. Here's Callum Hudson-Odoi.
Yeah, chance to, well, it's a clever ball into box. And then not such a great shot. Ball to Nico Williams and a little in and out. And then his shot blocked away. Thiago Silva knows exactly where to be. He blocks him away. 49 minutes on the clock. And then the ball back to Diogo Costa. He launches it long. Claims of handball there from Moffi. Nobody interested in that. It might come off Murillo's hand, but very unwitting if that. Hudson-Odoi now. Chance to take on Froholt. Gets the ball back from Dominguez. Nico Williams goes bombing on. He's at the byline more or less. Held up by Alan Varela. And then the ball goes back to Murillo. And then Sangari. And again, Forest, as you were, back on top now. Trying to get something going. And Doyle runs across. Nico Williams thinks about a shot. Controls it, lays it back. Now they've got Ola in around the back. His cutback is good. Good shot comes in, and that's a good save too. Gibbs-White might have done a little bit better, but he was on target.
Yeah, I think it might have been Jesus who had the shot in the end. Good play. Somebody had to put a bit of meaning behind the ball because they're just rotating it left to right. No great pace, but Aina got a bit of space, drove towards the byline and then pulled it back. Not a clean strike from Jesus in the end, but it needed saving. And obviously it was, I mean, it's a fairly comfortable save, more straight at Costa than anything else. But at least something came from the attack, because I was wondering why they'd slowed it down to walk-in pace. And I thought, you know, fresh out at half-time, make the ball zip around. And it took Aina to do that. Callum Hudson-Odoi, of course, is fresh. He was rather non-committal with what he was doing. It just looked a little bit laboured, but it was a shot in the end.
Yeah, it was something. We'd take that as Murillo wins the header. Ball breaks to Froholt at the edge of the box. And then Nico Williams gets in. The ball goes backwards. Porto playing with a bit of spirit here. Varela. And then Rosario giving it away momentarily, but they win it back. And Thiago, a good first-time ball from him. And the ball and to Jakub Kiwior, who is actually on loan from Arsenal. I thought he played quite well in the Premier League. Anyway, Froholt now driving into the box. An opportunity, finds Gomez. Can he cut the ball back? No, he can't. He just about keeps it in, but only to present it then to Nico Williams, who he's hustled and harried. It should be a throw-in, really. But I think maybe they've given a free kick against Gomez, who I thought had done all right there.
Yeah, I think the arm came on his shoulder initially, and then because he stayed on his feet, the second foul probably means that he's going to get the decision. Yeah, you could argue it's a bit soft or whatever. I think Fariola's talked himself into a booking there. Can't tell you, Braga are 3-2 up now at Betis. They were 2-0 down, and a third Betis goal was chalked off of VAR for Betis, that is. And now Braga lead 3-2. I can also tell you AEK were 3-0 down from the first leg, and they're 3-0 up from the second, so that's 3-3. Forest just want a second goal because until they get it, Porto, of course, they've got skills, they've got attack, talented players going forward. Yes, of course, they're a man down, but it doesn't take much. Forest need to be a bit more deliberate, aggressive, going forward. They've coughed up possession and is now out of position.
Yeah, you talked a minute of that, didn't you? But here come Porto, a shot from range, but it's a poor effort in the middle of the park. And then in the end, it's just not quite working out. It's a decent effort from Fofana, I suppose. You know, when we look from behind the goal, where they were just showing us his effort, for a nanosecond it was on target, and then it just drifted away. The Porto fans enjoying themselves and making a load of noise, trying to get their team back in it. And while they're just a goal down, while it's just 2-1 on aggregate, there's a chance to dream and to hope. It's up to Forest just to, to kill those hopes stone dead. I think the thing is when you're on a lead and you've got a man extra, it's almost like you can sit back. It's not dead. We'll do it later. You're not desperate because you're already doing okay. But until they grab that next goal, I just think it's just a little bit too nervy. Here, Hudson-Odoi now on his bike, a chance to drive, takes Rosario to the edge of the box. That's a decent-looking cutback, and header comes in. But Gibbs White maybe just have been jumping into his man. He's not the biggest, and I think maybe just jumping with more, just shoving into the back end, perhaps.
Yeah, I mean, he's lost the ball, and of course, well, he's second to the ball, and he's got the man. I mean, you'd argue that there's not much in it, but seen them given plenty of times, that sort of foul. But I thought it was at least better from Hudson-Odoi. He's got one-on-one situation with his man, and he's taken him on. He's got round the outside. He hasn't put the worst cross in. There's a little bit more direct, and I think that's what Forest need to be, because fatigue is going to be in their favour, because they've got an extra man. Be a bit more careful in possession, but at least stretch them, zip it around, left to right. They've got to play a little bit better. And this is another good ball. Nico Williams has been an outlet all game. And here he is helping Hudson-Odoi one-on-one again.
Yeah, and here's a chance then to take Rosario into the box. He cuts, lays the ball back. Nico Williams thinks about it, thinks about the strike. Still in the box, the ball to the far post. Not good enough again. And Diogo Costa's done what he's done all the way through the game. It's a good ball to Moffi. Can he get out of his feet? It's good defending by Cunha, well enough to stop the ball getting to Gomez. And then Froholt on the ball. He goes, finds Sanusi left-hand side. The ball goes backwards to Jakob Kiwior. And then out of his feet to Thiago. As soon as Jesus gets anywhere near him, shifts it out of his feet. Back to Kiwior over the halfway line. Not going anywhere, looking for targets. It's almost when they've got the ball taking a breather, but now they've got a chance with Froholt on the ball. It looks like they bring another sub on in a second. So I don't know if somebody's injured or somebody's not working or somebody's tanked, but looks like they're about to make another change. The away team. The Dragons need to try and breathe life into this, but they're 1-0 down and a man down, but they're sort of playing well enough, really. They've held Forest at bay. I wouldn't say it's a poor performance from Forest, but it's just been a little bit football by numbers, really. There needs to be a little bit more quality on it as two there come together. And now they're out of position at the centre-backs. The ball comes across. An opportunity. It's off the other side of the crossbar. Ball nodded back in. Well, I tell you what, William Gomez there. I mean, he's got his head in his hands. Now the counter-attack is on. Will break off because Hudson-Odoi now. I just noticed Murillo was stood next to Jaya Cunha because he came across and both of them didn't have the ball. And then when the ball comes in, you're thinking, who's there's a shot from Morgan Gibbs-White. He reckons it got deflected out wide. What are they thinking about, though, Rob?
Yeah, I mean, it's great play from Porto in the end. Obviously, we know they're a man down. How on earth Gomez is in space? Nico Williams, I've talked him up because he's been an outlet. He's got sucked in too much, or the defence has. It's been pulled across. And he's on marked far post. He's 3-4 yards out. Personally, not just because he's hit the woodwork, I think it's easier to head the ball on target as opposed to jump and try and volley it. He only has to hit the target and he's got a chance because he's that close in. I just think it's easier to control a header than a that a volley above waist height. He's inches away from, of course, equalising. Terrible defender from Forest, big let off, but now they've got a corner themselves.
Yeah, they do. Player goes down, referee's going to already intervene and have words. A little bit of shoving there. Rosario's saying it was him, and Jesus saying it was him. Well, I don't think we're going to get any sense out of either of them. I felt for William Gomez there with his shot. I thought it was a good effort. We were talking about it earlier. What Forest have had all through the game is that little bit of luck. That's all he needed. I thought his tech is pretty good. Nico Williams, the corner kick comes in. It's nodded, and Sangari will pick up the ball through the box and deep. Lays the ball back to Murillo. Out of his feet then, everybody getting a touch, and Doy, and then Aina lets it run across him. Clever play. And now Nico Williams, like you said, been a real outlet. But sometimes there is defending to be done. Needs to do his job. As Hudson-Odoi finds him, and again, it's all gone very slow. As Forest taking their own sweet time. They're working nobody at the minute. If Porto needed a breather, then they're having it right now. And that's the problem, as Rob alluded to. They're not zipping the ball about. It's just like, oh, take a break now. And then we can flog ourselves when we're having an attack. So Porto don't mind so much this little passage of play. And Forest are thinking, well, we've got the ball. We've got more men. We've got a lead. All these things are true, but haven't killed the game. As Ola again, decent looking cross. Again, nothing much gets past this fellow. I was bigging him up the first half. He comes and claims it. He's very confident coming across. And in the modern disease for goalkeepers is slapping or punching. But he keeps coming and claiming it, doesn't he?
Yeah, the crossing. I mean, I like the look of that cross because it's whipped in with a bit of purpose. But of course, Forest aren't really gambling and diving in towards the near post. If somebody does, then that's going to freeze Costa on his line perhaps. But there's nobody there to threaten the ball, so he just comes out and claims it. I think they've got to be a bit more aggressive. I mean, I keep saying it, want to score a second goal as opposed to hoping to score a second goal. Here at Porto, shooting opportunity, took too long to get the shot in, and it's tackled away by, better than that, it's tackled away by Dominguez, and now Jesus has won a free kick for Forest on the halfway line.
Yeah, just Fofana there fiddling around, and he was looking for an opening. He just never came, and he's thinking, oh, maybe a shot. By the time you have all those thoughts, the ball's taken off you. Some age now, but Forest could do with a Peter with somebody desperate to get a header on and dive through a brick wall. You've got to be over 50 for that reference to resonate with you, unfortunately. But anyway, Forest 1, Porto 0. Yeah, I've been sort of unconvinced by Igor Jesus so far. He's finding good positions and all that. It's like he's got good instincts, and then he just doesn't kill it off. You know.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a chance here. Jesus down the channel. He's got nobody in the box to aim for. That's half my problem with Forest. I don't think Hudson-Odoi, maybe even Morgan Gibbs-White get up quick enough. I think they're worried about being in front rather than killing the game off. They've got a shooting chance through Nico Williams. His shot charged down in the end. Brave defending. Why is it Nico Williams is in all these attacking players' positions and the Forest attackers aren't?
It's a good question. Anyway, the ball with the Morgan Gibbs-White tries to turn away from Diogo Costa. Done well there, and yeah, it's a good effort. That last shot from Nico Williams blocked away by, of course, Thiago Silva again. Just reads it like a book. Yeah, I'm beginning to think that the problem with Forest, full stop, is a lack of goals. You know, when they did well last season, it was Chris Wood, and every half chance he got, he put away, didn't he? It's like, he really papered over a lot of cracks that maybe there's just, in the entirety of it, there's just not enough goals in this team.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he's been missing for a while, and of course if he had avoided injury, crossing into the box is a little bit easier when you've got a target like Chris Wood. I don't think the crossing's been up to much, if I'm being honest. Too close to the keeper, not putting enough pressure on, and that's from anybody who's tried it. I think Nico Williams has got into some really good positions, same with Aina. The two fullbacks, and they've got a licence to do that because, of course, they've got the man advantage. But might argue Hudson-Odoi, Odoi himself, Hutchinson, their balls into anybody in the middle's not been good enough yet. They're still leading and they're still going through. What Forest are about to do is bring on Milenkovic. They did this in the first leg, of course. Who he comes on for remains to be seen, but obviously it's not an attacking move.
Murillo just hobbled away from that last pass that he made, so I'm thinking it's for him. Yeah, the young fella, Jay Cooney, has not really done anything, either good or bad. I don't know if that is a good or bad thing either, but anyway. Forest on the attack again. They work their way to the edge of the area, looking for a little bit of movement. Apart from Nico Williams, nobody. And then he revolves back round then, and he finds up for the edge of the area. I think I could see Nico Williams scoring tonight. Look at him, he's in position A, waiting to get a shot away. Can't get the ball to him though. He's stood just outside the D. I'm waiting, he's waiting, and all they're doing now is popping the ball around. Olaena on the ball, it goes backwards, then to Cunha, and then Sangare, and he straightens up now. Can he get anything going? Well, it sort of opens up. He tries to run through a brick wall, but obviously there's going to be Thiago Silva, who's the final brick in the wall that won't give, and he repels the ray. But the ball's won back. An opportunity then, and Hudson-Odoi has got Gibbs-White overlapping, probably offside. Again, the out ball is there. Shot from Dominguez, always going to get blocked away. Ball breaks back to Sangare though, they get lucky. Dominguez is another one I'm not convinced by him. And here we see a right-footed shot from Nico. It's big deflection, but I think that might have been curling in. It looked a decent effort. You're right, he's looked as likely as anybody else to score.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the man, the extra man, so of course somebody's going to be in space. It just seems to always be Nico Williams, so fair play that he's at least getting into advanced positions. I think it's been quite static up front, and Doy is the player going off incidentally for Milenkovic. I mean, I don't think he's done enough. I just don't think he's done enough. Can't think of anything particularly menacing he's done. He's crossing, I've talked about. Forest haven't put in good balls. Maybe they'll put Milenkovic in the middle so somebody can head the ball. But Porto also going to make a change too. They haven't looked like scoring in the second half, Nottingham Forest, and the closest to a second goal is, of course, Gomez striking the woodwork from inside the 6-yard box. So they could easily be 1-1. They're not doing enough to get the second goal. They might get it, who knows, but I'm not thinking Forest have got a man advantage right now.
No, it doesn't seem like that, does it? Ball bounces through the box for Forest though, and then a shot from range, Hudson-Odoi, and now on the half volley. Always hard to get that right. And the fans applaud that, but not great. Dennis School was the man who came on, the Turkish striker, so like for like with Moffi going off. He started the game like a house on fire, looked really bright, didn't he? And then as soon as you're having those thoughts that Porto look like they're on a going day today, then they're reduced in number. As silly little pull of the shirt there. I'm so unimpressed by Forest tonight, it's untrue. Meanwhile, elsewhere, Strasbourg 3-0 up against Mainz. So yeah, that's a big turnaround, isn't it? It's funny. A lot of these European games, like 2-0 is no big deal seemingly to turn around at all, is it, this season? It's happened quite a lot, that. As Einer challenge comes in. Yeah, the first leg of this game was weird. Porto looked good, and then a silly own goal, and then the game died a bit. But this game, it's like, well, we've had all the drama in the first 12 minutes, and then next to nothing, really. Like Forest have decided that they've won the game and don't really need to do much else. But then, of course, we had William Gomez just hit the crossbar, so it's not done and dusted just yet.
No, and of course they just made a defensive change, Forest as well. Milenkovic for Ndoye. Murillo's got a problem.
And he had a problem before they made that change, and now Hudson-Odoi looks like he is injured. This is the last thing you want. If you've got a relegation dogfight coming up, then you've got this game that you think you've got. Whenever you're faffing about at something and not going through the motions when you're most likely to get injured, I think. I mean, obviously Wood was dead unlucky. But I said when Milenkovic was coming out, it must be for Murillo, because he was hobbling at that point. It made no sense what they've just done.
Yeah, unless they were going to give him a little bit of time and make another change soon after. Who knows? Because obviously that would just be a straight sort of swap. Milenkovic going in for Murillo, and whoever the substitute is coming on. The Hudson-Odoi issue is obviously something different. Appears to be a right thigh. That's what he was sort of rubbing and pointing to. The front of the thigh as opposed to a hamstring. Fiorentina 2-1 up at home to Crystal Palace. Another goal there might just put the cat amongst the pigeons. Vallecano have got a goal back, so they're 3-1 down, meaning they're back ahead on aggregate. Those two matches, of course, in the Conference League. Villa's still cruising in the Europa League, 3-0 up. Braga 3-2 up at Betis. And a strange old game. Betis were 2-0 up, but now Braga lead 3-2. And Forest haven't killed this game off. They haven't made these changes either. Is it tactical? Is it time wasting?
Well, I think it's not time wasting. I think they've got problems out there. So Murillo has had treatment and he's gone off. Hudson-Odoi doesn't look, and he keeps signalling to the bench. So I think they're waiting to warm up players, and they want to do it in a big double if they're going to take them both off. They don't want to just bring one, then change the other, and then you're running out of slots, aren't you? So they're probably going to make a double change real soon. But anyway, we are 3/4 of the way through this game, listening to independent off-tube studio commentary, as you were really. Nottingham Forest 1, Porto 0, and Porto reduced in number. They've got 10 men. Forest making heavy weather of it. It's going to be Rob, though, to take us through to full time.
Cheers, John. Of course, the game not done and dusted yet. They've just passed it to Odoi. Have Forest who've passed it straight back into his own half. Williams, Dominguez, forced back to Murillo. Now to the edge of the box. Hudson-Odoi is sat down.
Put the ball out.
Yeah, I think there might be a time wasting ploy. He was injured moments ago. Plays restarted. He sat down. I mean, I don't like it. Get a second goal. Porto have got the ball back. They don't need to put the ball out. Forest didn't. So obviously Porto shouldn't have to, as Froholt picks it up. He's only just beyond the centre circle. Can't see if Hudson-Odoi is
no, he's still down
on his feet. It's with Gomez. Halfway inside the Forest half. Back towards the centre circle and Kivior. Now Thiago Silva. Out to the left-hand side, opportunity to cross, comes in towards the near post, headed away to the edge of the box, nodded down though, shooting chance, they're making a little bit of heavy weather of it. Gomez has it, his nutmeg doesn't work, he always wanted that on his left and he wasn't in there, and then Nico Williams has put the ball out. Hudson-Odoi sat down again.
Well, I tell you what, that ball should have gone out ages ago. They had the ball, they could have put it out. Hudson-Odoi was on his backside, then they decided to keep the ball. It's all their own fault, that. If an equaliser would have gone in then, they would have absolutely deserved it. Just stupidity, that. You know, they know that they've got two players injured, and then we'll play through that. Well, how are you going to? And then he immediately lost the ball, and then they're sort of hoping that Porto were going to put the ball out for them. No chance. Anyway, they got away with it.
Murillo is the first player going off, but it's going to be two changes. Obviously, Murillo is the first player to leave the field of play. Hudson-Odoi is, of course, on the floor at the moment. Murillo's coming off. That's what's flashing up on my screen. But then he stopped, and now he's going back. So player out is not Murillo, even though my TV screen is telling me it's Murillo. Hudson-Odoi has got his head in his shirt. He's been on the field for about 5 minutes, but he's kind of mucked. It's definitely a double change that's coming on.
Yeah, Morata's coming on. It's got to be for Murillo. Otherwise, you don't need three centre backs with one of them injured, do you? So, and what was the other change?
I think it's Bakwa that's coming on for Hudson-Odoi. I don't know whether the head in the shirt is so that he can walk slower. I don't know. Such is professionalism these days.
Well, I think he'd be a little bit upset. Do you know what? You want to play, don't you? And you want to be involved in all that. And he'd had a shot, and then he realised he'd done something. You know, he's a professional footballer. He wants to play, and he's disappointed he's got an injury. We saw that with Romero, didn't we? Albeit he knew he'd ruled out the World Cup kind of thing. I think he definitely knew. But it's not going Forest's way, is it, tonight? Not really. Yes, they might get through, but it's taking its toll, this European campaign, and it's the last thing they want when they're fighting to stave off relegation.
Yeah, I might argue the tie's gone their way. 50-yard own goal.
Yeah,
a deflection for their other goal.
It's great, but it's almost like you've got to win the Europa League now. Otherwise, what's the point? Good memories of how we got loads of players injured, didn't quite win any silverware, then got relegated. So it's a bit of a curse, isn't it, really?
Nervous faces in the crowd, of course. Largely Nottingham Forest fans. They are leading by a goal to nil. 17 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Porto on the attack with Froholt, right hand side. Still 2-1 down on aggregate. Cross in there. Hull let him run, but unfortunately I don't think it was quite read by Moura either. Shepherded into touch. Both players think they've got a throw, and it's going to go the way of Cunha and Forest. As it's around about 16 minutes to go. But yeah, Forest have just struggled to break down Porto. They probably missed their chance in that sort of 10 to 15 after the first goal, because it did look as though Porto were all over the place. Yes, they've created other chances since then, but Porto have settled since that initial sort of madcap 10 minutes following the red card and then the goal. Braga have got a fourth. I
bet the Betis fans don't know whether to laugh or cry. They were 2-0 up, thought they'd gone 3. Ended up getting beat. Just so, yay, we're the best. And then you wanted the manager out. But here come Forest.
Yes, with Nico Williams. There's nobody ahead of him at the moment. There is now, as he goes across the pitch a little bit, worked out to the right-hand side. But again, the cross doesn't come into the box. There's nobody there. Sangare put under pressure. Has to play it back to the halfway line. Cunha to Anya. Dominguez just to his inside, but not a great first touch. Second touch pass back to the halfway line. Milenkovic. 15 minutes to go plus stoppage time. And Forest still progressing as things stand. Ball played into the box, but I think that's caught Jesus by surprise. That's going to roll through to Costa, and Porto have it back. They do have possession deep inside their own half. I guess in a way they'll be happy they've got a chance. Of course, that they have struck the woodwork. That's a poor layout from Gomez. Forest are on the attack with Backward. Plays it into the box. Jesus shooting angle, and it's saved by the outstretched hand. I think he was momentarily wrong-footed, Costa, but his hand was strong enough to keep a pretty fierce shot from Jesus from going across him. Could have fallen to a red shirt. If a red shirt had been in the box, Porto clear.
Yeah, they've got all these players, one extra, but they only seem to be playing with one striker. I didn't think it was the worst attempt, but again, he doesn't have any. It's like there's no great power or conviction out of his strikes. I got to credit Costa because all his movement was going one way, but you know what? It's sneaky, isn't it? He just always had that hand held out, so he's holding that shape just in case. A bit sort of Peter Schmeichel-esque, really. You know, he doesn't have to make a save. He's just there, just a hand out already, holding that star shape, and that keeps his team in it.
Backwards on the attack for Nottingham Forest. They delays the pass through for Jesus, who has to check his run. Backwards still has it, then try to nutmeg pass. Now he's appealing for handball. He's going to get neither decision, and it's back at the feet of Diogo Costa.
And this is a baffling game of football. Gibbs White, he's just urging his men on, but nobody's doing anything. You say the captain's armband. Look at him there, trying to close down. He's doing it all, and everybody just stood around and said, "Why are you bothering? We're 1-0 up." It's like everyone thinks they've won it. But apart from Gibbs White and Nico Williams, nobody looks prepared to work hard tonight.
Gomez lets the ball run into touch there. It wasn't a great ball to him. That's from Costa. And he's under pressure from Nico Williams. So sounds like I'm talking Nico Williams into player of the match. I mean, I think he's had a good game, perhaps without...
It wouldn't take much doing, would it, man of the match?
That's a great ball through to Morgan Gibbs-White. Keeper came out, it's just forced him wide. He didn't commit to a challenge, Diogo Costa, but it was offside anyway. I thought it was a defence-splitting pass from Nico Williams, but Gibbs-White has gone a fraction too soon, and that will be a free kick too.
Well, I think the player of the match probably is Costa. We're just looking at his save there, and then he didn't know that the flag had not gone up there, and I thought he was really cool and calm when he came out. Didn't sell his soul with Morgan Gibbs-White, and just gave himself a chance. And then he delivers a pretty good ball up top. Little pull of the shirt there from Milenkovic. That's got to be a free kick, and you can't just write Porto off just yet.
12 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Still only one goal in it. Forest lead 2-1 on aggregate. 1-0 on the night. Been a man up since the 8th minute. Haven't quite made it count. Costa, of course, has made a few saves, more so than Ortega, as you would naturally assume. But the second half, of course, Gomez has thundered a volley off the underside of the crossbar. Could have easily been 1-1 at this stage, but it isn't. Forest lead by a goal to nil, and I'm not going to say hanging on, but they're just making hard work of this. Costa has come all the way into the Forest half, so we could just tow a ball to Kivior, who then launches it long out to the left wing. It's held up by Mora, so the real pressure from Aina's done well. They work the triangles nicely, and now Fofana has it, tackled by Sangare. The ball goes to Porto, play back into Fofana, a couple of step overs, left-footed shot, tight angle on, it's high, wide. And Fofana's gone to boot the advertising hoarding, and that wasn't a million miles away.
No, he had Milenkovic there rowing and off balance, and he fired one in. He's not a million miles away, and then he's giving it the crowd. Come on, everybody. And well, the Porto fans have been singing enough, they played well up there. It's just bad luck, isn't it, with this sending off that early. You get that feeling if there'd have been 11 against 11, it'd have been a real good battle tonight. But Forest, from minute 12, had grabbed that goal. Looked at that point like the floodgates were going to open, they were going to score a load, and they've just not gone through with it. And it's just giving Porto, it's giving him enough hope to hang on in there.
Into the final 10 minutes at the City Ground, independent unofficial off-tube studio commentary. Forest leading 1-0, man up since the 8th minute, one up since the 12th. Gibbs-White with the goal for Forest that could send them through to the semi-finals, where they will seemingly meet Aston Villa. Barring a catastrophic last 10 at Villa Park. 3-0 up after, I think, a 6-1 on aggregate. Bologna obviously not putting up much resistance. Forest will look to take on Villa in that semi-final. Got to see the job out. Second goal at this stage, of course, is going to kill it off, but they haven't looked like they're going to score it. Kivior, has he won the ball back? Has he fouled his man? They both end up at the deck here, and Jesus, and it's a free kick on the way of the Porto man. And arguably there's a little push from Kivior to start with. Then there's a bit of a tangle. They're both grappling for it.
I think it's a foul the other way for me, but Jesus didn't get that. Incidentally, on Sunday, Forest home. No, sorry, the next is Burnley, isn't it? I think their next fixture. So, and that's on Sunday at 2 o'clock. That comes around pretty quickly, doesn't it? And yeah, I think it might be a hard game, that.
Nico Williams down the left, pass from backward, back in field to Gibbs-White, back to Dominguez, out to Nico Williams. They're working the triangles, they're keeping the possession. The clock is Forest's friend, of course. The more they can run down, the better it is for them. But the second goal ends the game, you would have thought. They just haven't threatened enough in this second half to get that second goal. Costa, I wouldn't say has been overworked. Yes, it was a good save to deny Jesus, but not been overworked. Bearing in mind Porto have a man down. Sangari's lining up a shot. No, plays it to Gibbs-White. Half tackle by Kivior. Ricochet goes to Dominguez. Out to Morato, who feeds it into Gibbs-White. Can't quite turn past Kivior, but is a corner kick to Nottingham Forest. We'll see how aggressive they are. Who knows how many players they're going to put in the box. Might keep them all back.
Yeah, well, Gibbs White's he's kept going tonight. I don't, he's not been brilliant, but at least he's shown a little bit of design, passion that some of the other guys haven't. They've had 18 shots. You wouldn't know that. 5 have been on target. You wouldn't really know that either, would you? The shot that came in that beat the keeper was a massive deflection, but other than that, he's not a right lot to do. Of 62% possession, which, bear in mind they've got one man more, is not massive really.
Backward the corner, doesn't beat the man at the near post. It's smashed downfield, not headed. It's just volleyed clear under no pressure. Of course, Forest will get it back on the halfway line, despite the pressure from Gomez. Now he's going to chase the ball back to Ortega. Obviously, Porto are entering last chance saloon. They know they've got 7 minutes plus stoppage time remaining to try and snatch a goal, take the game to extra time. But of course, they've got to get the ball. Morgan gives White very deep, caught in possession. Chance for Porto, maybe. You're lining up a shot, and it's it's hit the crossbar. It's ballooned up in the air, and Fofana can't quite turn into space in possession. That's twice they've hit the woodwork, both times the crossbar. Forest might kill it off now. They've got a chance as it's Dominguez. Tries his luck, and he's dragged it wide of the near post.
How's your luck? Twice now they've hit the crossbar. Twice seemingly Stefan Ortega beaten. It was Varella's strike, got out with his feet, beat the keeper by a mile, didn't it? And is it going to drop? It just ain't going to drop tonight, is it? And in the end, it pings off the crossbar, goes up in the air, drops back into play. They're so unlucky, aren't they, Porto?
Varela back in possession. Kivior now into the centre circle, finds Silva. He runs a little bit of pressure at the moment, and Silva wasn't given a great ball back. He's lost possession now. Sangare slips it through. Jesus won't challenge because he's probably gone a fraction too soon. I think back wasn't the intended target, hence he wasn't close enough. And Porto have possession back with Fofana on the halfway line. A little over 5 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Twice in the second half, Porto have been denied by the crossbar. Varela feeding it to Kivior, starts to stride forward, working it out to the left-hand side of Mora, back to the halfway line. Varela. Forest is starting to retreat a little bit more, as you might expect this late in the game. 5 minutes, they're leading by the slenderest of margins, 1 goal. And obviously worried about, considering they've been helped out by the woodwork, just worried about Porto creating one last chance. Ball slipped forward. I think that might be offside. No flag stayed down. Cross comes in. It's slightly miscued by Morato, but it falls kindly for Bakwa. Lays it off to Williams to launch it downfield. Jesus chests it down on the halfway line just to get Forest back in possession. They're going to kill the clock a little bit as much as they can. And that's good play from Williams and Jesus. They have possession back, a little over 4 minutes to go. Aston Villa enjoying their night, 4-0 up now at home to Bologna, having won the first leg 3-1.
Bologna, a good team. I saw them beat Rome in the competition in Rome. They play 4-3-3, don't they? Or they play with 3 up top, and they constantly keep that 3 up top. So, I guess a good team are going to pick them apart. In this game, Porto dead unlucky that they were reduced in number, but they've hit the woodwork twice now. I have a feeling that Forest are going to maybe come unstuck against Burnley at the weekend. If they play like this, I think the Clarets have a great opportunity. And for Forest here, they've got to be really careful about their Premier League futures. But it's the kind of performance that just makes you think, what have they got? They certainly don't have momentum. In team play, they've shown nothing. They've lost 1 striker tonight, and that might be in for the season, you never know. Hopefully it's just precautionary, him going off with the ice on his knee. But then Jesus has come on, and he gets in good position, but he's had umpteen chances now, and you're just thinking most of them have been tame, and they've allowed Costa to make reasonable saves.
Kivior's got across to just about beat backward to the ball. He's making a meal of it. He's got the free kick. They're taking a bit of sympathy on Bologna, I would imagine. That's probably no stoppage time. Villa have won. They've beaten Bologna by 4 goals to 0 on the night, 7-1 on aggregate, and they're just awaiting who will join them in the last 4. Forest in the position at the moment, 1-0 up with a man advantage, but they haven't played that way, particularly in the second half, and this game hasn't quite been settled. Aina is charging down the right hand side, showing a real purpose and energy. He just ran into a bit of a cul-de-sac in the end and is dispossessed by a combination of Moura and Varela. And now Porto have it back. 2 minutes to go plus stoppage time. Whether they've got one last chance in them, I don't know. They haven't been overly proficient as Gomez goes around Nico Williams and clearly it hit the ball too far and then slid down, trying to win a free kick stroke penalty. Clearly the referee was never going to give it to him. There was a moment scare there, but they have won a free kick nearer the centre circle. Forest just they aren't dominating this game in any way you might imagine.
No, they're not. They've been really poor, haven't they? It looks like they're going to get away with it. William Gomez, 20-year-old, he just tried to burst around his man, but Nico Williams had about a 10-yard start and he was running the inside track. He was always going to get there. But I think he played quite well, William Gomez. Just I said that, he's probably going to get a yellow card. But just left one in on the backward there. But yeah, youthful exuberance, it goes a long way, doesn't it? And of course, I didn't think there was anything wrong with his technique. He got dead unlucky with his shot that hit the underside of the crossbar. That really is as close as Porto came, even though they've hit the woodwork twice.
Yeah, Forest not looking as nervous. They're looking nervous enough for a side that's playing against 10 men. They're still leading by the solitary goal on the night. And obviously, as John just mentioned, Woodwork's come to their rescue twice in the second half. But of course, it's a strike. Should Porto score it, that wouldn't defeat Nottingham Forest, it would just mean extra time. So they got 2 bites of the cherry in many ways. Bacco was caught, but I think in the 90th minute those injuries do take a little bit longer to treat, and we're probably going to go into stoppage time before play restarts. As I say, they're not wholly nervous at Nottingham Forest. There's plenty who are nervous. Jesus has just run under Moura there. It's a long ball downfield. I don't think, again, there's any malice for Moura, but Thiago, it wasn't Moura, it was Silva. And Silva's landed really awkwardly. And it's going to be a free kick to Porto, only just outside their own box. The problem is whether the veteran has landed too awkwardly. 5 minutes of stoppage time to be played, which is bizarre in a way. Probably played, had 2 minutes where there's been no action. I thought there might have been a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't know. It's been a weird old game. It just keeps showing us John McGovern watching from the stand. He, of course, was in that brilliant Forest team that Brian Clough, took to European glory. And of course, he was at Derby County with him. Then he took him to Leeds, and then he went to Forest, and that's where he won all his pots and pans and trophies. A great career. 76 now. He looked pretty good for it, I think, and so too Tony Woodcock, who got presented with some kind of prize early. Anyway, ball's back in play, and off they go again. And Forest, just try to hold Porto off now to claim their victory.
5 minutes of stoppage time. We're into the second of those 5 minutes as it's launched forward by Porto down the right channel. Gomez has got it behind. I thought it was a decent first touch, but Nico Williams has read the ball really well. Then he's trod on the ball. He's put under pressure by Gomez. Gomez really should have gone after that to keep it in. He was just desperately appealing for a corner. I think he could have kept it in, but he's just trying to influence the assistant, and he's not going to get the decision. Goal kick to Forest, 3 minutes left of stoppage time. Morgan Gibbs-White's 12th minute goal is still the only thing that separates the 11 of Forest against the 10 of Porto. A couple of injuries as well might have impacted Forest's thinking going forward. Chris Wood and Rillo, Hudson-Odoi, they haven't finished the game because they wanted to. They've been forced off, unfortunately, for the Tricky Trees. As we're about halfway through stoppage time and Porto have possession back. Forest just want to get the ball as far away from their area as possible. It's going to come back relatively quickly. Gomez, right wing, lays it back though to the full back, and Rosario pumps it forward, headed away on the edge of the box. Kivior's picked up the ball, he's gone for goal, took a deflection, that's going to go wide, but it will be a corner kick to Porto. Couple of minutes left.
It's going in. Keeper's coming out. I tell you what, Diogo Costa has had everything in the box tonight. Maybe he gets the header. But last chance saloon, really. And the Porto fans going wild behind that goal. They're going to try and suck the ball into the back of the net. Their big keeper's up. This is it. It's now or never.
It's going to be a left wing corner, swung in right footed. I think it's Varela who's gone across to take it. Kivior stood on the keeper. Of course, Diogo Costa is in the box somewhere. And it is in towards the near post. Straight onto the head of Aina. But it's going to come out to Gomez, who pumps it back in. Keeper stayed on his line. Nico Williams now has to deal with it under pressure, and he has dealt with it. And backward breaking down the left-hand side, might well keep it in. Don't know where Diogo Costa is now. He's back in his area. Backer is taking it towards the corner flag, then swings it across. It's partially deflected, only to Jesus. Is allowed to turn right-footed shot. Took a deflection. Balloons hit the top of the crossbar. Goes behind for a corner. I think 2 deflected goals might have been a little bit fortunate, to say the least, but a wrong-footed Costa, he can't recover. It'll be a corner, and I don't think Forest will be in a rush to take it.
No, not really. They've spent all their luck for the season tonight, haven't they? Mind you, like we said, with the injuries as well, they'll be left counting the cost perhaps. But they just haven't played well as they take the corner kick short. Then Ola Aina does all that annoying stuff, tries to hold it in, and now we've just got 30 seconds left of the game.
Yeah, Porto, just got to get it downfield and hope for the best. It is hooked downfield. Froholt's run into the back of Jesus, who I don't like the decision, because Jesus is looking at, Dominguez is looking at Froholt and just gets in his way. He's not got no intention of playing the ball, and as soon as Froholt touches him, he goes over, clutching his head, which is even more ridiculous. But Forest have done a job. It's not been pretty, and of course, we said they were fortunate to get the red card. There's nothing wrong with the decision. It's an entirely merited red card. I don't think there was intent there from Bednarek, but it's such a poor challenge, and obviously Forest got a goal and managed to keep Porto at bay. Can they get a second into the 6 minute of stoppage time? Gibbs White has it near the corner flag. He's not messing around, he just wants to take time. Porto got bodies back there. Dominguez, this is as purposeful as he's looked in the entire game, trying to keep it alive in near the corner flag. Froholt's trying to win it back. The referee could just blow up. I don't know how much added time he's adding on. Another strong challenge comes in. Rosario, too strong is he on Dominguez? Difficult to work out. Dominguez isn't wasting much time hitting the deck. And with 6 minutes of stoppage time have just about been completed. Forest, I think, can celebrate now. Not been pretty, not the way I suppose Aston Villa have won 7-1 on aggregate. They might be fearing the worst. Would they rather have played at Bologna? Who knows? But they are into the semi-final.
If they'd have played like this, I think Bologna would have lowered their colours as well. But do you know what? It's something of a derby. It'll be a different game again. You live to fight another day. And, Thiago there just dragging his man back there for encroaching, and then the referees called it quits anyway. So really bizarre, dreadful end to the game, but it is Nottingham Forest who get through this playoff round. They won on the night. Forest 1, Porto 0.
Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is getting ever nearer, so why not take the opportunity of having a bet on the match? Whether you're interested in betting on the match result, the first player to score, the last scorer, correct score, double result, total goals market, handicap betting, or any other of our exciting market, it's fun to be involved. Don't forget, when the match kicks off, you can sit back and enjoy superb independent studio commentary while also enjoying our in-play betting opportunities. Good luck. Our next football commentary match is